Hello! We're going to talk about chickens today. The age-old question, which came first, the chicken or the egg? Philosophers have been debating this question for centuries, but scientifically, the egg came first. We're going to start out with talking about breeds. I have been raising chickens for 14 years, and I got into doing chickens because my kids wanted to raise chickens for 4-H projects. In that time, I've learned through trial and error, as well as reading lots of books and asking lots of questions. One of the birds I have in my flock is the Plymouth Barred Rock. They lay 200 to 280 eggs a year. Second I have is a Buff Orpington. They also lay 200 to 280 eggs a year. I really like the White Leghorns. They lay 200 to 300 eggs a year. They are very productive. I've had several in my flock and I truly enjoy them. But my ultimate favorite is the Silver Lace Wyandotte. They may only lay 110 eggs a year, but they are chatty, docile, friendly chickens and beautiful. So meat chickens, you can have a couple of options. The one I have here is a Cornish cross meat bird. They are only raised for 8 to 10 weeks and then processed. They are not capable of keeping much longer than that. They grow so fast, their bones become brittle and could easily break. Another option for meat birds would be to have dual purpose chickens. In the picture here, there's generic chickens, but they look as though they would be dual purpose chickens, like the few that I have, the Plymouth Barred Rock, the Buff Orpington, the Silver Lace Wyandotte. You grow those over time and collect their eggs, and they grow more muscle mass than the Leghorn does. That would not be a dual purpose chicken. Now that we've talked about different breeds of chickens, we're going to talk about proper care for our chickens. Animal husbandry is a strange topic. People first think about marriage and husbands, but animal husbandry is the breeding, feeding, housing, and general health care of livestock to make sure they have a long, active, and productive life. Animals need clean, fresh water, clean living environment 24/7. If you do not provide this for them, that can cause them to become ill. It's extremely important to keep the coop free of rodents and birds because they have a tendency of bringing in diseases. It is also important to have adequate coop space. It is recommended that birds have a minimum of 2 to 3 square feet of coop floor space per bird and 10 to 12 square feet of run per chicken. Once you have adequate coop space, it's important to regularly clean the roost and the floor of the coop. Otherwise, the buildup of manure could cause the chickens to become ill. Now that we've talked about and learned about nutrition, biosecurity, and housing, we need to talk about what influences egg production. The first thing that influences egg production in chickens is, depending on the breed, it takes 6 to 10 months for the chicken to mature to be able to physically start laying eggs. In the beginning of egg production, the eggs are smaller. Just like in a human, when we first have our first child, the pubic area bone needs to stretch. The pubic bone of a chicken also needs to stretch over time. And the longer the chicken lays eggs, the larger the chickens become. The second that influences chicken production, egg production, is the feed. The feed needs to be rich in calcium and at least 16 to 20% protein for eggs to grow strong shells, and high nutrients for us to eat. Chickens have a tendency of stop laying eggs if you switch their feed, so give them time to adjust and they'll start laying again. The last thing we're going to talk about that affects egg production is day length. Chickens need 16 hours of daylight for them to have optimal egg production. So come the shorter days of our winter here, we need to put a light on a timer in our coops to help them think that the daylight is longer. So today we talked about what breeds are good for egg laying versus meat. Secondly, we've talked about what animal husbandry is and the importance of adequate coop space and nutrition. And finally, we discussed what influences egg production. In conclusion, chickens are fun pets that provide us with nutritious, protein-rich foods. It's important to provide them with adequate space and good nutrition for them to thrive. Thank you.